Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Have you ever wondered what games you should sell or you should use? Find out here at Purge Reviews. Find out on our top 10 list what games you cannot miss. Don't forget to subscribe to Purge Reviews.
All Your Animals is one of these small box hobby games. Very portable, very nice. It's a memory game where you're searching. I mean, you're talking about you can play it with a 3-year-old. There's not a whole lot of game here. It's really roll a dice and try to match something up. A lot of luck involved, but that's okay because you're targeting 3 to 6-year-olds. So I think a 3-year-old would like this. We would have pick it up. And you would get a game like this just to get your child kind of playing some games. I think it accomplishes that. I think they'll grow out of this, 5, 6, We want our kids to progress on, but they'll still like this long after you do. It's not a little bad memory game. It's very simple. It comes in a small box. You can throw it on a suitcase. You play in a hotel with your kids if you want to. Other than that, as a game, it's just a random fest. I mean, there's nothing to it. It's super light and super silly and super everything. But the artwork is cute. The kids are gonna like it. There's not a lot of games for 3-year-olds, and this will definitely hit that market right there.
The components for All Your Animals is a very small box game from Haba. You're going to get a bunch of these tiles. You have the Haba logo with some animals on the back. Very attractive with these different animals. Very simple drawings which will attract smaller children. This game starts out pretty young, and you're going to get 1 die. Each die will have a set of animals on it. It's always a set of 4, but the animals are different. If you look, there's a horse on this one, and there's a frog on the top one there. So there's a different combination each time. You are going to get a multi-language rulebook, which you always get. That's literally the rules, not a big deal. And like with most Haba games, you are going to get more than 1 game in the box. In this case, 3. And that's all the components there are. Very simple.
As with all Haba games, you're going to get 2 rules sets in here. You'll be able to play fairly easily. The components are really easy. That nice artwork. But the rules are a snap. You'll have no problem with them whatsoever. So game 1, which is called Little Animal Memory. All you do is you set the 24 tiles out. I don't have all of them here, just a few to simulate the game. These will all be out face up. You roll the die, and you turn over. If the animal corresponds to the die, which it does not, it's a horse, it does not, then the next player turns over a tile until they find one that matches. Well, I didn't put them all out, but hopefully one of them got put out. Yep, so the B. So whoever child drew the B would put this face down and score it. And memory, these are all turned back over. And you repeat the same thing. So it's literally just memory with a die. So, I remember seeing that panda. Wasn't he right here? Ah, no! There he is. So you would score. The game ends when you roll the die and you turn everything over and there's no matches. Then you just count up the points. So that's the first game. The second game in the box is called Big Animal Memory. What you do is you roll the dice and you look at the animals on it and you look for an animal on here. Let's say you turn this over and you are correct. There is a tiger on the die. Great. Then you roll the die again, and you go again. And you keep going until you miss. And when you miss, the next person goes. And that gives you, the winner
whoever collects the fifth tile. So it's 5 tiles to win. This does increase the player turn, so it will increase the downtime, and that can be a little bit important in games. So I think I like the first one a little bit better than the second one. For game 3, animal to animal, you are going to flip the top one over, roll the die. If it does not match, this goes face up, and then the next player goes. And then he rolls the die. And if nothing matches, there's no fish or tiger, this goes face up. And the next one gets popped over for the next player, and you roll the die. And eventually, if you roll something that matches, let's say you roll the tiger. Oh, great, you roll the tiger and the lion. They go together. You take both of these, you score them, and then you get to go again. And if you don't match it, you don't know. So a lot of luck in the memory. This version really has no memory. You're just rolling it over and seeing if it matches. So this is probably the easiest of the bunch. The game ends when the pile is empty. And you score points. So I think the memory, the first game, is probably the best one. This one's probably the most simplest.
Game, any parent who wants to kind of get their kid going into games and identifying things, you're rolling dice, you're matching the cards with the dice, you're putting two things together. Very elementary board game things here, but skills that they'll need. And you kind of need to get your kids in that board game is fun family time, so you're going to start them out really early, depending on your kid's IQ, maybe 2, but I think 3 is a good age. My daughter was a little sharper than my son at this age, so, I started her on games a little bit younger than I did him, but this isn't a terrible one to start out with. At the end of the day, it's memory with a die. So younger kids only need to apply here. Nothing for adults, nothing for older kids. They'll move on past this, but you need these starter games. They're really fun, and it breaks up the monotony of another game of Candyland.